Welcome to episode 27 of The Mental Dietitian. I'm your host, Ahren Lynch-potter. It's good to be with you guys. Today's episode is about success. What is success? What does it mean to be successful? I'm going to start this show with an absolute banger quote from one of my favorite human beings on earth, which is John C. Maxwell. He's the #1 leadership author in the world. He's written more leadership books than any other human being. Incredible human being, incredible man. I've had the privilege of seeing him speak live probably about 6 times. And he has this quote that I think defines what it means to be successful better than any other quote. A lot of people think success has to do with money. Oh, he's very successful. I've heard people say that. But he's very successful. And then the guy's doing cocaine all the time at work and is 100 pounds overweight. That is not success. It's maybe success in one arena, but it's not success with his health, his spirituality, and his relationships. I'm just talking about a particular person that I know. And this quote by John Maxwell, it says, what is success? Success is the people who are closest to you love and respect you the most. He said there's a lot of people out there that people love and respect them, but the people closest to them don't feel the same way as the people that are further away from them. And he has this saying that there's a lot of people that are bigger on the outside than they are on the inside. He was talking about, for example, at the time when he was talking about this, it was talking about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods obviously had a lot of issues. He cheated on his wife. He's had many different issues. And he was bigger on the outside than he was on the inside, character-wise. All his accolades, all his achievement, all his, in quotations, success caused him to be bigger on the outside than he is on the inside. And the goal should be to be bigger on the inside than you are on the outside. And that directly links to the people who are closest to you love and respect you the most because they know who you really are. That is the best definition of success that I've ever heard. It doesn't talk about your Ferrari. It doesn't talk about how much real estate is in your portfolio. It doesn't talk about how many stocks you own. It doesn't talk about accolades. It doesn't talk about that. It defines success based on an individual's character. And I think that, well, that's what I strive to do. I strive to be that definition of success. I strive for the people who are closest to me to love and respect me the most, more than anybody else, because they know that I'm a good man. And some days I feel like I've got a long way to go. I know I'm a good man, but I've done things and said things and that I would be very judgmental, and I'd be like, you know what, that doesn't mean you're a good man. But I've done enough self-development, enough inward searching and realizing that I'm also a human being. And to strive to be perfect is a very low standard. It's impossible. It's an impossible standard. You can't ever be perfect. It's just impossible. So we live in a society right now that defines success mostly tied to finances. Now, that is an issue because there's a lot of fat, rich people out there. There's a lot of fat, unhealthy, wealthy people. Now, if you want to be successful, when you hear success, I love that definition of people that are the closest to you, love and respect you the most. Now, what does that mean, though? It really comes down to 4 different things. I think it comes down to relational, have successful relationships, be a good human being, whether or not it's a relationship with your barber, the person you just meet at the gym when you're clocking in, checking in with your key tag, or whether or not it's your wife. It's been your wife for 40 years. Relational is one component of it. Are you successful? Are you rich? Are you wealthy in your relationships? Number 2, your spiritual walk, whatever that means to you. It could be religious, it could be spiritual, whatever that means to you. Do you have a connection and a personal relationship with something that is greater than yourself? It doesn't have to be some dogma, it doesn't have to be Christian, Muslim, it doesn't have to be anything of that. Do you realize and know that you have a soul and everybody else has a soul, and that each one of us, when we're talking to somebody else, we're really talking to ourselves because we're all connected. I am not a drop in the ocean. I'm the entire ocean in a drop. So if you realize that, it means that you're connected to something bigger and greater than you. And you have to develop that relationship. You have to keep showing up, whether or not it's meditation, prayer, whatever it may be. It's kind of the relationship with yourself, and then connecting yourself to something greater than you. That is another component of it. The third component is your health. Are you successful and wealthy and rich with your health? One of my favorite quotes. I have quoted this on this podcast before. I'm going to read it out again. I'm going to read it out about mankind. It's a Dalai Lama quote. I'm Googling it. Just came to my mind. Okay. It ties in to exactly what I'm talking about, health. The Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, answered man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. Then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present, the result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, then dies never really having lived. Crazy. So, number 3 is your health. Are you eating good food? Here's the thing about number 2, spiritual. If you believe that you're connected to something else and that your body is a vessel to hold your soul, which is what I believe, I'm going to treat the vessel as best as I possibly can. I'm going to eat good food. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to make sure that I'm monitoring any really built up emotions, whether it's anger or anxiety, and really figure out why that's happening, which is part of health, mental health and physical health. Your health. You got to look after mental health and physical health. The spirituality and health are tied together, I think, because as soon as you realize that you're an amazing, beautiful creation, you'd be like, why the fuck am I vaping? Why the fuck am I drinking all the time? What part of me thinks that I should poison this vessel that I have? What part of me thinks that I'm not worth treating it like a beautiful body that it is? Why am I doing that? So are you rich? Are you wealthy? Are you successful in your health and your fitness, whether or not it's mental health and fitness or physical health and fitness? They are tied together. You cannot separate the mind and the body. They are tied together. They are one. Number 4, finances. Here's the thing. If, just like that Dalai Lama quote, if you're unhealthy, you'll sacrifice your health to make money, and then sacrifice all the money you made to recuperate your health. Nothing matters if you're really, really sick. You could be a billionaire. If you've got cancer, you will spend all your money to get better, because time is the real currency of the wealthy. And if you are sitting in a hospital bed because you're unhealthy, because you didn't look after yourself and didn't think about number 3 and number 2, then what's the point of being a millionaire or a billionaire? It doesn't matter. Here's what I'm not saying. I am not saying finances doesn't matter. It matters a lot because it provides you the freedom to eat the good foods. Eating well is not cheap. I spend $1,000 a month on groceries between Lexi and I. Actually, no, I spend about $1,300. About $1,300 on groceries. All organic. We choose really good meat sources. We choose organic vegetables. We don't really eat a bunch of sugar. If we do eat out, it's usually good quality. Like we go to an Italian pizza place, which has this award from Italy. It's the flour's organic. Everything's really, really good. The meat's organic. It's good. It's not Domino's. It's not Pizza Hut. It's really good pizza. It's good quality. You don't feel like shit after you eat it. That costs a lot of money. It costs money. Gym membership costs money. Jiu-jitsu membership costs money. Kickboxing membership costs money. All these things cost money. But eventually, you want to get to the point where you have a surplus of money, then you can start using that money to invest. And then with your assets that you invested your money in, there's your assets start paying you. Therefore, you don't have to grind away and work your ass off for 50, 60, 70 years just to get a pension. I'm not going to rely on the government to look after me, and neither should you. You have to figure out these finances things. You have to learn, okay, how does money actually work? What am I spending my money on? Am I spending my money on liabilities or am I spending my money on assets? If I buy this pair of shoes, what's the return on investment? Oh, it makes me feel good for a couple of weeks. Not worth it. Trust me, I spent most of my adult life buying things for immediate gratification versus investing things for delayed gratification. I turned 30 in 2 weeks and I'm just really starting to get it wrapped around my head. It caused me to have a lot of credit card debt. It caused me not to think about the future. It caused me to buy things that I didn't really like. It caused me to buy things to impress people that I didn't really like. I've been there. I bought a car because of that. Don't get me wrong, it was a sick car. It was awesome. But I spent too much money on it. I could have been investing that money. But on the flip side, there's this balance, this polarity, is you don't want to be so frugal with your money that you don't enjoy your life. It's important to go on a vacation. It's important to go out to dinner sometimes. It's important to create memories, but make sure you are always putting money aside and investing it. I think saving money is stupid. I think saving money outside of a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. What is a 3 to 6 month emergency fund? Add up all your bills for the month. Say it's $5,000 a month, your bills. You get 6 months in the bank. 30 grand. You have 30 grand in the bank. 6 months. You don't touch that. Inflation will eat that away. Sorry, but it will. It'll eat that away. In 5 years from now, that 30 grand does not have the same purchasing power as it did 5 years earlier. But it is simply there as a safety barrier. You could do 3 months, whatever you prefer. If you've got a family, I would recommend 6. If you're single, 3 is fine, whatever. Then after that, you take every dollar that you can. Usually it should be like 25%. If you can't do 25%, do 15%. Do 10%, do something. The Richest Man in Babylon, which is a great little book, highly recommend you read it. It recommends that out of every dollar you get paid, 10% goes to you and you invest it. So you just take a small amount like 10%, you invest it, whether or not it's in real estate, whether or not it's in cryptocurrency, stocks, whatever it may be, whatever it is. Invest in something that over the long term will pay you money. So one day you don't have to trade your time for money anymore. Those are the 4 things that I think make somebody successful. If you're only successful in one of these arenas, you're absolutely shredded and you die at some point, but you are broke. I've been there. That used to be me. You're not successful. If you're rich as fuck, and you're fucking awesome, and you think you're just loaded, I'm making 100 grand a month, making $1 million a month, but you have constant anxiety and you're put on a bunch of weight, you're not successful. I'm sorry, you're not. If you are so spiritual that you just like, you know what, I've transcended my body. I am at one with the souls. I'm in the ocean of souls and we're all connected and I am one. And you can't pay your rent. You're also a human being. You're also a human. You're also an animal with desires. Don't get too caught up in that. You got to forget. You can't forget that, yes, you have a soul and all that stuff is true, but you also get hungry. And we're not ourselves when we're hungry, are we? We kind of get a little bit grumpy sometimes. Number 4, if you're just such a social butterfly, you got all these great relationships, or you think you do, but you're not successful in any other arena and you're constantly just going out for drinks with friends and you put on all this weight, you're not successful. Going back to the very start of how I started this podcast, the people that are closest to you love and respect you the most. I think that if you had all 4 of those areas dialed in, really dialed in, that the people that are closest to you and they knew it, you're giving money to charity, you were really connected spiritually, you looked after your health, you made a bunch of money, you loved and cared about your friends, and you were the person that everybody wanted to be friends with because you're a good human being and you tell them the truth when they need to hear the truth. You're there for them when they need a shoulder to cry on. If you get those 4 things dialed in, the people that are closest to you will love and respect you the most. Hope this episode helps, guys. I love talking about this stuff. I love doing this. Share this show. Share it. I know that these messages can help people. I know they can. Not being arrogant. I just know that they can. Love you guys. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening. Whatever you're doing, go do it with 100% of your effort and have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.